Thanks for joining us for another episode of the GhanaWeb Mundial, beginning our official coverage for the 2022 FIFA World Cup, proudly brought to you by Nkommo Travel and Tour, the official traveling agency of the 2022 FIFA World Cup, approved by the Ministry of Sports. Today, we'll be discussing supporters and then songs. You know, with days to the start of the competition in Qatar, Akwabwa and then Kweku Flake, they've released their songs to convey support for the Black Stars. In the past, we've heard ones from Grace Ashi, Obo, and Metro TV also produced one. This and many others is what we'll be discussing on this episode of the GhanaWeb Mundial. My name is Joel Leshen, and we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we start the discussion on the need for governments to send supporters to Qatar. What do you think about this proposal? We'll be back after the break. Welcome back from the break. You're still GhanaWeb Mundial right here on GhanaWeb TV, proudly brought to you by Nkommo Travel and Tour, the official traveling agency for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Today we are talking about fans and the role they play in making sure that the Black Stars achieve their intended target of getting to the semi-finals. So join me do the discussion. Our regular guest, GhanaWeb Sports editor, Perez Ezwakwa, and then Benefo Wabin Abrantepa, head of entertainment desk and then host of eForum on GhanaWeb TV. Good morning, gentlemen, and thanks for joining me here.
Good morning, Joe. You. Thanks for having us.
Abrante, will you be going to Qatar? I only come for it.
Why is Perez laughing? I'm not going to Qatar.
You won't be going to Qatar.
But if I get a sponsor, why not? I'll be glad to go because I think it's a nice place, and almost everyone would want to be part of this World Cup. Of course, it's not the first time Ghana is qualifying, but if you have a place where one of the stadiums looks like, you know, you may want to go and then watch and see how the whole atmosphere is. You know, when you are at the venue, it's different from when you are watching on TV. And so, if anyone wants to sponsor me, why not? I would want to go and then have that experience. It will be my first time going for a soccer tournament, actually.
Then let me begin with you, Perez. There's been a lot of conversations about supporters and all that. We know that FIFA, they put supporters at the top of everything they do. And then we felt the importance of supporters during the COVID when teams were playing behind closed doors. How important it is for us to get fans in Qatar?
So in football, we normally refer to the supporters as the 12th man. Yeah. So the 11 players on the field, and the supporters are the 12th man. It means that if a club is going to win, if a nation is going to win a tournament, you need the supporters behind the football club, and they play such an integral role. You made mention of, you know, the EPL and the impact of the COVID. According to the Times, the UK Times, the goals in the Premier League reduced by home goals in the Premier League reduced by 37% during the COVID season, and that they think was due to the absence of fans. Because see, once you're on the pitch, the fans, the ginger, they push you on. Let me give you an example of an Arsenal in our game against Liverpool. Ahead of the game, what Mikel Arteta did was to create an atmosphere like Anfield, so that because Anfield arguably is the most intimidating stadium in the world, and when you have players going there and they are not used to that kind of atmosphere, they normally, you know, get frightened and it gets to them. Another example I'll give is how Liverpool came back in that Istanbul miracle. Now, if you listen to the story, during the second half, the first half break, they were in the dressing room, the coach was talking. All of a sudden, they started hearing that you never walk alone. In the dressing room, the supporters were chanting. This is a team that was 3 goals down in the final game against AC Milan, in the final game of the UEFA Champions League. And the fans were chanting. They were on top of their voice. They were everywhere. They were even louder than the AC Milan fans. The Benitez stopped talking to them. He just said, you've heard your supporters. You know what they want. Go out there and give it to them. Now, another example is, I think we spoke to one man supporter last week, and he said in his first ever Ghanaian tournament, he was just in the stands as the lone Ghanaian, but he was even louder than I think the host nation. Was it Costa Rica or the host nation? To the extent that whenever the Ghanaians looked up to the stand, the only person they could see was him, and they always looked up to whenever things were
not
tough,
going their way.
They looked at him to the extent that even the sponsors of the event had to approach him and say, okay, we have this offer. This is one man. That's the difference he could make. So the role of supporters in football cannot be over. There are teams, there are places where you go and you know you're going to lose because of their supporters. In football, you can ride on luck, you can ride on players' form, you can ride on, you know, the competence or the skills of players. But one integral role that we can't deny is the fact that fans play a huge role, and especially for the Black Stars. When you listen to the Black Stars and Asamoah, one of the guys talk about their performance in the 2006 World Cup after that defeat against Italy. It was down to the Ghanaians in Germany, and they always pay huge credit to them because they feel like, but for the loudness or but for the support of Ghanaians in Germany in that tournament, they wouldn't have been able to do what they did. So you can't underestimate the importance of supporters in football.
Arante, Bring Back the Love was dead after the AFCON because of our embarrassing performance. But we saw that the game against Nigeria brought a different vibe that we thought played a key role in our qualification. Now, it seems that vibe is down. You are not less than a month to the World Cup, and then you are not seeing signs that even the Black Stars will qualify. How important will it be for authorities to make sure that Ghanaians are behind them? Just as Perez said, in 2006, we did what we did because of the Ghanaians in Germany, even both home and abroad. How we supported, how we jubilated when the team win. How critical will it be for us to get the same vibe?
So, Ghana and Nigeria, the competition in every sector is very tough. If you look at even the music industry, and sometimes people, when they make comments about how the Nigerian movie industry or music industry is booming, some Ghanaian pundits would not want that reference because they think that that conversation has been exhausted and we need to elevate the conversation more. So why not look at other jurisdictions instead of focusing on Nigeria? And so you notice that when Ghana was about to play Nigeria, even though people were not rallying behind the Black Stars, because it's Nigeria, it became a different ball game, you know, because these are people that we are competing with in every aspect.
Everything we do.
And so they rallied behind the team, supported them for, you know, the victory that we wanted. And so the love has actually, it has lessened due to a number of factors. So the performance of the Black Stars compared to previous years has not been the best. You know, when people say Black Stars is the African Brazil, how do they say the Brazil of African soccer? Yeah. You see that we actually dominate the game and then we win. But now it's like we struggle before we win. So even when we win, the performance is not impressive. The ball possession and all of that. And so you don't get people supporting us. And then the comments that is being made by some of the players and then the authorities and then the people in charge, their inability to take firm decisions. It makes people draw away from the team. And so if we want to bring back the love, and I was happy when the GFA, what's his name? Okreku, when he came. The bring back the love was what he wanted to achieve. And at a point, you notice that it was going well until one or two issues.
It's like it goes.
Yes. Yeah. You know, so everybody was doing what they in their own capacity, what to do to improve the performance and bring back the love. But the comments and then the performance, you don't see an improvement. And so people become relaxed. At the end of the day, if I'm still supporting Akumatia, so why should I even do that? So if we want to have a change in the narrative, we need to tackle all of these. We understand that, yes, the players, they play their heart out. I mean, you can argue in favor or against it. But I am sure that whoever is on the pitch, when they win, it's not only the excitement, but they get winning bonus. Yeah. And so there is no so to speak, better supporter than the players, unless, of course, there is a motive that we are not privy to. But, of course, every player in there would want to have that exposure for the fact that to be part of the winning team, get their winning bonus, and they also play outside. If there are people who scout for players or they want to move from wherever they are to another team with their performance, they will be able to get whatever deal that they want, you know, arguably. So we need to tackle all these things in order to bring back the love. It is very, very essential because it is the time that we are going for a World Cup. And whether you like it or not, this is big for tourism. You understand? People got to know about Ghana because of what Asamoah Gyan did, because of Ghana's performance when we went to the World Cup. You know, before that, someone had passed the comment. I think when Cameroon went to the World Cup, someone passed the comment that wait till you get Ghana comes to the World Cup. Around that time, so you registered the name in the minds of the people. Ghana goes, and indeed we performed. Then people would want to come and see how Ghana looks like, and at the end of the day, you see, so it's very, very essential. We will get so many opportunities when we are able to excel. It is the reason we need to put in place proper structures and proper plans in order to get the people back to support the team. Because if you notice I always say that I don't really follow the teams, you know, but when they come together to play as Black Stars, I watch it and then I am able to see one or two things. The performance that we have put across, the 4 Nation tournament that we did in Japan. And Charlie, the performance has not been good. So we need something to change our minds, to change the way we think about the Black Stars. And I was happy when you had the discussion on the 55-man squad and all that. You see, the confidence or whatever it is that is lost, we will gain it or regain when the squad comes out and everybody sees that, yes, this is, we can't have a perfect team, but you notice that at least some 90% video is okay. Then that one, you get people to support, and then we get all, I mean, we need to get our old players, the celebrities and everybody involved in order to, you know, help in changing the mindset that people have about the Black Stars. Okay, a quick one before I take what one man supporter said. But Perez, Abraham mentioned that we need to bring people on board. Now, we've seen that the GFA, they've visited President Akufo-Addo, all the 2 former presidents who are still alive, that's Kufuor and Mahama. Over the weekend, they did Legends Dinner, work for the Legends. They are talking to every person who matter to make sure that the Black Stars get the needed support. Is that the only way to go, or there are other things that we need to include the ordinary man on the street to also see that 2014 it was bad, but this time around we can do something? You know, Abraham made mention of 2 things, and I feel that if we are going to get supporters or people to follow the Black Stars, we need both the 2 things. The first one is the performance. You can do all the things you do. If you go and play trash football, nobody will support you. And especially for a team that has consistently disappointed Ghanaians. 2008, 2010, semis, AFCON semis, we go, we don't do it, we come back home. Then we spend a huge chunk of money. Then worst of it all was 2014, where the Black Stars players removed the veil that previously protected them from the public backlash. We've always had the perception that the country was wasting money on the Black Stars. But the Ghanaians were not that angry because we felt, okay, it was the big men who were doing it. But for the players, they were playing for the country and they loved the country. It was patriotism. Once they decided to go for the money, that picture of John Boy kissing money, that video of the airplane carrying the money, all those things, whenever the Black Stars are mentioned, that memory comes back into the, and that angers Ghanaians. It makes Ghanaians angry. Worst of it all, we've seen a drop, a massive drop in quality. When you look at this current team, compared to the teams of Mike Layson and those guys, you can't compare the 2. The performance has been terrible, coaching has been well. So there's absolutely, aside the fact that we are Ghanaians,
there's absolutely no reason for us to support the Black Stars, basically. The only thing that will push me to support the Black Stars is because I was born here. Now, if I'm going to support you and you the player that I feel I have to give my love to, you're showing preference for money over patriotism, then let me sit back and watch what they need to do. And I think the FA, they've taken some good steps. But what we need to do now is that the off-the-field actions must reflect on the field. The better the performance, the stronger the support will be, because now it has become more like, if we are paying you to play for us,
you should win the games.
You win the games. Once you win the game, then I give you my support. But if you don't win the games, there is no way. So whenever you're watching the Black, Ghanaians say, "Oh, we don't like the Black Stars." But the moment we win,
we start winning,
then you see. So now it's more of, it's gone from, should I say,
we want to see the results.
Of course,
before we support.
That's all. We've gone from a holistic or a Ghanaian-driven kind of sport to a more conditional one, where you give me support, I support you, because you're playing for money. I want the excitement. If you don't give me the excitement, I won't come. So what the FA needs to do, and Abraham mentioned the first one, give us a squad that inspires confidence. Don't give us a squad that I look at and so, wait there, he's in because
he knows this person or this person is bringing him.
If I see that squad, and 90% of that squad, like Abraham said, are players that I know, they might not match up to the quality of Uruguay, South Korea, or Portugal. But these are the best we have. I'll have confidence, I'll fast, I'll pray, I'll support the team because I know we've tried. But if you give me a squad bereft of some, then you give me a squad with some players whose name I don't want to mention. We don't support too. We don't go do that thing.
All right, we won't do that thing. This is GhanaWeb Mundial. But on the question whether government should airlift supporters to Qatar or not, don't forget that former sports minister Elvis Efriye Ankra advised this government that they shouldn't airlift supporters to Qatar. But if we want to have a conversation about supporters, there is only one man we can go to. He was given the name One Man Supporter by Sir Stanley Matthew in the 1990s. One Man Supporter spoke to Perez Ezwakwao on GhanaWeb Sports Check Show on why we need to have fans in Qatar.
Osha team performance now, Osha Uruguay, South Korea, Portugal. Osha a bit to qualify to the next stage.
Well, me problem is say, yen the supporters no, yen ya mobilize who say aband the band ya kubia no. They are ready to give the best out of us, because the integral part of the team, to win a match, depend on the three categories: playing body, technical team, and the supporters. So if these three things, work very well, we have to have a successful match. With the future media, whoever is in charge of this 2022 is there. Some kofa, Chrome for fans, only Ghana for they deserve to go, but home treatment is different. And to group them different place. Now group young supporters into different place. With all millions of dollars, give it to them. One of your party people.
That was One Man Supporter, president of the Ghana Supporters Union and then vice president in Africa, explaining why government need to sponsor fans to go to Qatar and then cheer the team up so that we can get to the semi-finals. I'll ask Abrantepa and Perez on whether they think that is the way to go in our current state as a country. But let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussions. Welcome back from the break. This is GhanaWeb Mundial official coverage for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. When the tournament starts, we'll switch to Match Day Live, where we're bringing you live commentaries and all that. Perez, you had One Man Supporter explaining why we need to airlift Ghana supporters from here to Qatar, because these people who are here in Ghana, they go with the team everywhere. Whether the team is going to Benin, whether they are going to Tamale, everywhere the team goes, they follow. So if they are going to Qatar, you cannot say that we should let the go and support the team. We don't need fans who just go and sit there, and then we need those who be the 12th man we need.
You know, it's a delicate issue because we find ourselves in an economic situation where the president of all people has admitted that we are in a crisis. Yesterday, Osisi can't pay the day, so we can't talk about it a lot, but he's admitted that country broke.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to airlift supporters to Qatar, you're going to spend, in the millions of dollars to match tickets, their movements in and out, the plane, everything. It's quite costly. But the Black Stars and the ministry have always found a way of doing this. And the Jamefe Commission spells it out clearly that you don't really have to use public funds to do it. What you have to do is to rely on, corporate institutions and organizations to airlift this, and in turn, give them some tax rebates on some platform to advertise and grow their product. So, if you've followed the conversation about this World Cup carefully, and I think one of the former the GFA Executive Council member has, he says they are already in talks with corporate institutions. Yes, trying to get them to airlift supporters to Qatar because they feel that we will need their funds. If you want to excel at the World Cup, you have to spend. It's basic. In 2014, Germany set up a whole village or a whole game village in Brazil. That was way more than the amount they got for winning. But what they did, they did that because they knew the importance of football. They knew what the avenues that it was going to create for them. So if you want to excel at the World Cup, if you want to achieve glory, we have to spend. Now, as long as we don't go into the public conference, I think it might be almost empty, basically, because Akufo-Addo say money no day. So, of course, money no day. So, if we are going to get help from corporate institutions, the telecommunication, it's the Black Stars, for God's sake.
The mining companies.
We are top 5 in terms of the World Cup. We are one of the 5 African countries making it to the World Cup. That should count for something. That should be able to turn some heads in the boardrooms, in the negotiations tables of some of the major companies. And I think the GFA and the ministry should be able to come together, gather enough funds, and if they deem it fit and think that it's financially, it makes sense, when you cross the T's and dot the I's, 1+1, 2+2, it makes financial sense for us to airlift supporters to Qatar. We should do it. What I don't want to see happening is what happened in Brazil 2014.
I want to add to what Perez said. When in the beginning of the discussion, he explained the essence of fans or supporters in football. That's very, very essential. The players get the connection with the fans, and then you are able to, based on how the fans respond, you know that this is a positive,
when you are down.
Yes, this is a positive feedback, and so we need to actually do something about it. It is the reason we need fans in the stadium. I agree with everything that he has said. I think one thing that we can also do, apart from what he has said, or in addition to what he has said, is to ensure that the people who are already in Qatar, I believe that there are Ghanaians there. We should find a way to add them to those that we are going to move from here, so that they can also support, even if we need to get the tickets for them at subsidized cost. We should do that, so that together with those that will move from here, we will be able to support the team. Because yes, the money there, but once we have decided that we want to go and participate in the World Cup, we need to go and represent, and make a mark. Because at the end of the day, if we are able to get to, I don't know where the money thing begins.
From the group stage.
Right
from the group stage.
Okay.
Right from the day you qualify,
so
you get 2 million.
if we are able to advance to the semi-finals, the quarter-finals, I'm sure there are monies that we would get. So yes, we need to do all these things. Try both ways to get the fans there to help in pushing the Black Stars, and see whether the love will come back, because the love will come back.
The part I feel like we also need the Kong supporters group, who they are familiar with the team, is that how we've been playing of late. So if we rely on only those abroad, and then they are at the stadium, maybe against Portugal, after 60 minutes, our performance is not good, maybe we are down.
They'll start hooting at them.
And then we don't get fans who will stick with the team from the start of the game to the final whistle. I think that can also.
But you see, how easy or difficult is it?
There is a difference between fans and supporters.
We need supporters.
And the Black Stars at this crucial point need supporters.
Yes.
We don't need fans.
We don't need fans.
The fans are those that
they only support you when it's going well. Okay.
But the supporters are those who will stick by you, who cheer you on, even when it's quite on. They are there. And especially for the Black Stars, it's important because in 2 of our games, we'll be going up against 2 countries that, from the goalkeeping to the last man, are better than have players who are way better than us. We can't compare our squad to Uruguay. We can't compare our squad to Portugal. Now, when you come up against these teams, what you need is the 12th man. You need your supporters to rally behind you, intimidate them, make noise, because those are games that we spend majority of the time defending with our backs against the wall. Now, if you don't have people in the stadium cheering on in that difficult situation, then the players might crumble, the players might give in. But when you have your supporters, you have the one-mans and the Apregu Chakapamas, all the other guys with the Ghana flag running up and down, it gives the players some sense of hope. We are not saying that pump public funds into it. No, country broke.
Yeah.
We all admit say money no day. But if we can gather resources from wherever possible,
the corporate world.
Yes. But what we don't want is that one. And one man made mention of that is that he thinks the major problem we encountered in 2014 was that instead of sending supporters to Brazil, we sent party foot soldiers.
Yeah.
And because they didn't understand the intricacies and what it's supposed to be fans, a football fan wouldn't mind walking from, like Abrantepa said, he walked from,
Edukrum to Rage, just to watch Kotoko train.
A football fan wouldn't mind doing that. But for someone who is not a football fan, who is there by virtue of the fact that he has a party card, he doesn't understand some of these things. Yeah, so once there is some bit of hardship, picks his phone, social media, boom, it's a crisis.
All right, so we know the importance of getting fans, and then when I watched the Pele documentary in 1958, when Brazil they played against the host nation Sweden in the World Cup final, and they were down by a long goal. And according to Pele, it's like all his teammates were down because they remembered in 1950 when they conceded the first goal and they lost. But when they were going to start the game after conceding that, I think he said there were only 200 Brazilians at the stadium. But when he saw those 200 people still waving the Brazil flag, and according to him, he said that day he played his best football in his career because he saw the Brazilian flag at the stadium. So I think that if we get people who rally behind the team from start to the end of the game.
And that means it doesn't matter the number.
Yes, it doesn't matter the number. Now, let's talk about songs. When they are at the stadium, they are going to sing. When we are doing adverts, creating awareness, because we will need fans from here in Ghana, abroad, all over, wherever Ghanaians are, we will need songs to do that. How critical is that to our campaign? And before I come to Abrantepa and then Perez, let's watch some of the songs put together by some of the finest we have in the country. Now let's listen to Kweku Flake and then Akwabwa. Then we take you back to the legend of producing songs for the Black Stars, Grace Ashi. All right, so you saw excerpts of the songs put together by Akwabwa, Kweku Flake, Grace Ashi. Oh, ye Black Stars. Oh, ye. Actually, then I remember when I was in primary school, JHS. Yeah. The moment you hear in the morning when you are going to school, and then they will be playing it on radio. Stevie Napier, then you know that today, like,
I mean, you may want to give credit to Grace Ashi, and you see all the songs that she released for the Black Stars were 9 songs. They were hits, and big ups to Buddy Roro, who was the brain behind these songs in terms of production. The Yenye song, that's the 2010 World Cup, I guess.
No,
which
2006,
the first one. That song was massive. It was massive. It really did well, and you see, music is very, very essential in our everyday life. Yeah. When you are not in a good mood, it depends on the songs that you listen to, and it can uplift your soul. There are songs that when you are sad and you listen to those songs, you get sad the more. And there are songs that you listen, now they are fading. There are songs when you listen, it boosts your morale. So if you look at these World Cup songs, these are songs that when you listen, you would want to dance and cheer the team up. And so those who do these songs, the producers and then the composers, they consider a number of things. The instrumentation, you know, how to get people to dance. So if you take a careful look at all these songs, you notice it is danceable. Yeah. There are songs that are groovy, like Obet Media Chow Nasia fine. So exactly. So these songs are very, very necessary. And hearing Akwabwa and Koku Flake, there is one guy, Ebo Music, who has also done some. They are good. I think we should do more. Wiala did a song. I've forgotten which year it was. Go Go Blasters. Go Go Go.
2014 World Cup.
Yes, 2014 World Cup. That song was also danceable. You hear the drums and all that. So I think our musicians are doing well. The songs, and then the Can 2008 when we did the All Stars. It had Samini, it had Ofoyan Ponsan, it had Obrafo, Obuo. Oh, say yeah, muhi Ghana Franca. You know, you see the way people gravitated towards the song, and then the way it changed the atmosphere. It's just unfortunate that we were not able to win the cup. I think, was it Cameroon that eliminated us? Yeah.
As for that AFCON, every day I said I blame the coach. Every day. I'm serious though, because see, if ACN had played in midfield in that game, but you know, Grace actually on a number of occasions she has stated that she never got a penny from the GFA from the songs he played, and we cannot downplay the effort she put in creating awareness and then getting Ghanaians to rally behind the team. Do you think that as part of the resources we spend in trying to create the awareness for our games, for the Black Stars, is it time that the ministry, the GFA, whoever they bring on board, sits with these musicians and then like do it not when the musicians feel like, oh, we want to support. Like it's time that the GFA also give them something so that they can also put in the maximum effort to produce these songs. I think
the FA already doing it. The Akwabwa song, it's a partnership between him and the FA. So the FA was the one who commissioned him to produce it. So if you look at that song, it has elements of the GFA, you know, bring back the love campaign and all the other things into it. So the GFA have already recognized the importance of having a team song for whatever tournament or whatever the World Cup, and that's how come Akwabwa has produced what I believe is a beautiful tune for the Black Stars. It's danceable. It has historical elements. It weaves together, you know, Osibise and
the national anthem.
You know, and it evokes some sense of, in as much as we might not like the Black Stars as we used to, whenever you listen to that song,
then the song is nice.
It gives you some sense of pride, some sense of love for the Black Stars. So you have to give kudos to the GFA for, you know, having the vision or having the foresight to say, okay, Akwabwa, you're one of the best, you know, we have in the country. Come on board and do these things for us. But for Grace Ash's issue, it's a very complex issue. Whenever you hear her explain it, and whenever you hear people from the FA, they were like, they expected certain people to do for her what she says were not done for her.
Okay.
Because I don't want to mention the company involved, but there was a company that was supporting the Black Stars, that was facilitating the lifting of supporters and all those things. that company was supposed to give her something. It wasn't supposed to come from the FA themselves. And some way, somehow, I don't know whether it's breakdown in communication or whatever it was, she didn't get what she was due. So the FA think it's not their fault. But she also feel that the song, ultimately, the Black Stars managed, the FA managed the Black Stars on behalf of the public. She did a song for the Black Stars. So if you are managing the institution Black Stars, then when someone does a song, you know, a timeless, a classic song like that, at least you should be able to get something for it. But the FA don't think that they are not to be blamed for it. But it's a good song. I remember in 2010, so when Ghana vs Uruguay, but the moment to go the penalty, way back in Sacramento, we didn't wait for someone to kick the penalty, but we were out. We are going to see here.
I'm saying that on that day, and then you see last week I was talking to you about it that when the referee whistled for penalty, John Mensah, I think one other player, they didn't even look at what was going on in the 18-yard box because they knew a Ghana scored. So they went straight to the fans to tell them to
we had to run from where my place to Encia, and if you know Encia, so back then this is how we celebrate Black Stars wins. Whenever they win, we walk converge at Encia, then we go to Solokwa from Encia to JBC, closer to Reverend Uzu and Pest. Then from JBC, we go to that's what about. That's where we climax everything. So we're already there. Oh, Charlie. All right,
so before I come to Abrant's and then we wrap up the show, my colleague Emmanuel Lenin spoke to some Ghanaians to select their best World Cup song and then how they rate the new ones released by Akwabwa and then Kweku Flake on this week's episode of the GhanaWeb Sports Debate. Let's take a look.
Black Stars nyom na watini nyina de hin na ye odepa Black Stars nyom na obey Black Stars nyom aja ye jezashi do zan hwan de obo want to me yim free and then one oh bet me ato kakra Black Stars Ghana Black Stars ye Steven Apia woni na abo player din Makilese ni those days in Black Star enye ne ba me de ba ku bi no Kesa je ba ku bi no only donate what I say that was 2010 there no I say I can't say I tell you kana for bo na kuma sine de America for na ko che tight corner the bear you me de was Steven Apia hey Prince Boateng we boss say tell ya tan me de twabo boss you any favorite and woman ba ko this is the legend. What I say on the new my blasters in any papa. So what I say.
That's how you buy me the pan in here. Oh, my yeah, no, you know. If I was saying, study on my war, you know. Now, me, if you touch on, I know the pan, if I can't boy or born a fine, and my blaster phone. And about your bubble prayers in the dinner. Oh, no, and also a fine pa. I said, no, so fine. Bubble prayers in anything. And I know I am an idiot. I go. Bessie, I feel share.
Oh, yeah. Last time saying, so far, me, I know now. Every man is here. And I know the new my head there. See, I the blaster there. Yeah, you hope I don't know.
All right, so you saw Ghanaians rating the new songs and then telling Emmanuel Lenin about how they feel and the impacts of these songs on their support for the Black Stars. You're still watching GhanaWeb Mundial right here on GhanaWeb TV, proudly brought to you by Nkommo Travel & Tours, the official traveling agency. If you have your own money and you want to go to Qatar, don't go anywhere. If you go and then claim your money,
chop your money.
Let me say this in three. Because we know that if you go to Europe, some people they've started even saving for World Cup in 2026.
Yes.
So Sikana Swan, Fako Kempon in the office back Abelempe Junction. Unima out there, Bramiam, the overcome. What do Sikana?
And modern Ghana there and Obi music
why not Ghana say then you put money together to go and watch the World Cup now Obi on Sabeka
go to Kampong
I did 2040 so around here wrapping up the need for our celebs to also because Sako there, I think in one of our games, the game was so terrible that Obede we went to Twitter and then he was, why are you people doing me like that? How at this particular moment we are barely 3 weeks away from the start of the World Cup. What can our celebs also do to help?
Sarkodie even has a song. Yeah. The one that he said "Ne voice a sea" or something.
Yes. Yeah. He jumped on that
Doneo. Yeah. That was also a fantastic piece over there. What celebs can do. So the songs, song productions, yes, we've seen Akwabua do it. And I don't know if Grace Ashley has done. I'm yet to hear. Yeah. I don't know if she has. But from what I know, and what, I don't want to sound generic, but from what I know, she has been the one who has been doing the official songs. Yeah, official. The 2010, the 2014, and then 2006, you know, she did those songs. And so I'm sure people are expecting her to release a song. I'm expecting her to do it because I love her songs.
When it comes, it's a banger.
Yeah, she's good at it. So I'm expecting a song from her. If it wouldn't be too much to anticipate or to ask for, I think there has to be an all-star song. Yeah. To signify unity, that's one, and also for the mere fact that we had one during the 2008 CAN that was held in Ghana. That song was brilliant. It was a nice piece. I think that there has been new crop of musicians. And we have our veterans also there. If there can be a blend of these generations.
I'm just imagining hearing, oh yeah. Now what's that? Sugar Daddy. Now we say about Black O'Neill. What's up? What time it is? Pam. Now beam name. Now boy.
High life musicians to the gospel musicians, you know, everything. I think if we have an all-star song, it will be a beautiful piece. And so I would actually wish for that. Beyond that, we've seen. You see, I don't know if it's because of the economic hardship or the momentum. It's not being felt because the World Cup has not started or because we've not come out with the list of players that we are going with. It can be either of the factors and it can be a combination of all. So I am thinking that when the list is finally released, then we'll get to feel the euphoria around the whole thing. And until then, everybody is minding their own business. Everybody is thinking about what they will eat, the football prices, and how the economy has been managed. Whether you think it's good or bad, badly managed or better managed, that depends on the spectacle. I'm just saying. I'm saying
that whether you think it's good or it's not bad.
That's your problem. So you are quoting, that's your problem.
That's your problem. Yes.
You are quoting Anado. That's okay. We understand. So I think that as time goes on, the love will come back when we see the squad, and we'll get our celebs rallying behind these. And you see, they have some level of influence that you cannot underestimate. So once they lead the way, I am certain their supporters will also rally behind them through their tweets, through their social media posts. Let me just generalize it. We've seen during the Kotoko House match, we saw how the rivalry was on Facebook, on Twitter, where they were in their jerseys, you know, and it actually brought some energy. And people anticipated how the game was going to be. And the aftermath was even more exciting, where you had people who were teasing themselves, you know. So I believe as time goes on, our celebrities will do something to get the people involved, get our supporters, get our fans, rally behind the Black Stars. So let's just hope. But I'm actually looking forward to hearing an all-star song. I think I don't know why something tells me it's been cooked. you know, sometimes we do the songs and then wait more when it's getting to the time. Then because now if you put out the song, it may not get the vibe that you want.
Today and this week we are talking about Sikam Pedede. We are talking about Sikam Pedede. So
and Pedede because I knew the nurse about
yeah,
see who did it.
And yes, Sikam Pedede. They didn't to me, ma.
Oh, agenda.
Alright, so you heard Abrantepa is saying that he is looking forward to an all-star, not him alone. Perez, let me take your final words on supporters and then getting supporters, not fans. Even if we are supposed to airlift supporters from here to Qatar, it should be supporters, not fans.
But how many is too much though? How many fans?
I mean, it depends on how much they are
able to secure
from all the campaigns that they are going to. But from all indications, clearly, supporters will be lifted. We just hope that there will be real supporters.
Yeah, it will be real supporters and not our people.
Like I said, the Black Stars need support. They need it because against Portugal, we are going to be outplayed. Against Uruguay, we are going to be outplayed. No, but
I see, I'm saying that, and the other day I did the analysis for. I'm saying that for me, I believe that if we look through the group, Ghana and Uruguay, we are even the weakest in the Uruguay.
We are weakest in terms of what?
In terms of team. In terms of team.
Now you want to see Uruguay in Nadian. So how are we the weakest?
No, I'm saying that if you compare Uruguay, Portugal, and then South Korea, I'm saying that we should never be afraid of Uruguay.
But now team I'm saying
our team Nicaragua. Our team that we are going to have Thomas Partey in midfield. Uruguay, one more player.
No, apart from Partey.
Naki Williams, Tariq Lamptey, Mohamed Salisu.
Are you going to compare Naki to Nunes?
At this material moment, Inaki Williams and Darwin Nunes.
You're okay.
Darwin Nunes. At this material, okay. Even this season, how many goals? Darwin Nunes.
That has about 6 goals.
On to me, 6 goals. You
are not going to be. The guy has. You see, thing is that whether I would like it or not. The teams in our group, even South Korea, they have better players than us. What we are going to rely on?
Apart from Son, apart from Missy Uruguay, let me take your final words.
Perez on the floor, right?
Let me take your.
So I think we will need the supporters there. We will need them to turn up, be loud, support the team. We don't want to see a repetition of 2014 where all the nonsense up. We don't want to see a repetition of 2019 where even after Ghana had left the tournament, there were still people
in Egypt.
In Egypt and all the story that was coming for. We want to see a wall. If you're going to send supporters,
on time,
organize it nicely. Let them go. We don't hear all the news. But the thing is that we don't have to use public funds. Okay. The ministry, we have enough connections and all those things to Ghana fans and push them there. And make sure you send supporters.
Not
because if you listen to even the football people and all the supporters group, one man, Aziz Harun and all their guys, their main concern is that when it gets to these times, you have all kinds of people lobbying their MPs, lobbying their DCs, and it's because so when they go there, they don't go to the stadium. No. Some of them are looking for passes to go and do some connection to end up in US or to end up in another country where they feel they will get comfortable. Send supporters there. Let them go and cheer the Black Stars on so that we can beat Portugal and advance.
Rante, your last word.
I think we need to do the right things in order to get the love back. And like I mentioned earlier, it would have to start on the squad. Is it 23, I guess?
No, the final one will be
26. Right. So we need to get the right men on the pitch. We need to let the coach do his work. If we need to criticize, we do that. But if there is any level of interference, which in the past has been the case, I think we need to find a way to curb that. And the coach should be man enough to let those who are good to be there. People should not be there based on past glory. It should be your current form. And so that at the end of the day, whatever the target is, we'll be able to achieve. And you see, in as much as we have a lot of things on our minds, I think that Ghanaians should rally behind the team, because the benefits that we'll get from the World Cup is very, very profound if we are able to excel. So this is the time to rally behind the team. Do what you can as a citizen. Yes, don't be a spectator, even though we need spectators to watch the football.
Okay,
bars,
bars, man. Our target is semi-final, and then I agree with Abrantepa that we should rally behind the team, because from now we know that the country is hot. If we rally behind the team and then they perform, that's 1 month that they will be playing the World Cup. At least we will be able to forget
our worries.
Our worries for that period, and then we think about what will happen for Christmas. But Coach Otuado and the GFA, they need to release the squad for us to see if we can put our 100% hopes on them, or we'll go with the normal inshallah. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Benefo Boaben Abrantepa, head of entertainment desk for GhanaWeb and host of eForum. Parents, Ezra Kwao, you'll be seeing him here almost every day. Yes, Minenoa Yejidem doing the work. Kempon Travel and Tours, official traveling agency for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Just as I stated earlier on, if you've gathered your money, you have a sponsor taking you to the World Cup. The office is at Abelempe Airport. There is one there. If you can't go there, just send a comment. GhanaWeb will come to you and then take you to Kempon Travel and Tours. Thanks to all the production crew, Kwame Adom, Richard Vanderpoy, MFA, Pearl. Hi. My name is Joel Eshen. Until we meet again, we'll be back on Friday as we talk about sex and all the other thing related to the players on Friday.
Wait. This one is on. Why didn't you invite me for the sex and football?
All right, we'll be here on Friday. Expect Amabroni. Yes, Nkommo Wo Ho will join us on Friday. And Abrantepa, we have one extra guest. On Friday, we'll meet. Thanks for staying with us.